Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Alien Addict. It is the penultimate episode of Alien Addict that you're going to enjoy without Ollie. We're going to talk about UFOs tonight. Obviously, it's a UFO channel. And as my friend told me today, who's putting a gig on over the weekend, if you're going to do something proper, you get proper people. So I'm going to welcome in Stu, Black
Good
Star
evening.
Paranormal, and Hidden Underbelly.
I
How are
made
you
it.
doing?
Um,
How are you
Hello,
doing?
everyone.
Good, thanks, mate.
Good. I'm going to go through some UFO photographs tonight, aren't we? That you have lovingly put together for us, Stu.
I have.
Once
I
again,
raided MUFON
you raided MUFON.
for some of the stuff. Some stuff I haven't even seen before. I think we're going to talk about Mr. Corbell and Mr. Knapp's screw up.
Yeah, I mean that was disappointing. I suppose we might as well have a chat about that first because the first I heard of that was um, the podcast. So I
Yeah.
was listening to the podcast at work. I heard about the thing they were talking about, the UFO over the army base. I heard the accounts. You know, there was various people had seen it. You had the guy that came on talking about it, and I didn't see the video at first. I just heard the audio because I was just
Neither did
listening.
I. I did what you did. I listened to it, and it wasn't until you said, "I'll go back and watch it." That watched it
Yeah,
tonight.
So, but when I was at work, I went and Googled I think I went to Twitter to find Corbell's Twitter page to look at the photograph of it, and I thought, well, fuck me, that's a fucking triangle in the sky. That's cool. And then Stu, like apart you and Mick West, pissed right over me glowing triangle chips.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, it didn't last long, did it? It was like
Didn't.
24 hours, and Mick West had it absolutely ruined. I mean, John
Mm.
Greenwald.
And to rights as well, like bang to rights. There's no real arguing with it, unfortunately. And I know that the people that are arguing with it are saying now that it was in the air too long to be flares. But I mean, you when you're talking about the difference that what flares can stay up like that for like 4 to 7 minutes, something like that,
Yeah.
and they're saying no, it's impossible because it was up there for 10. I have definitely been in a position where I've not been able to tell the difference between 2, 3, 10 minutes, half an hour. You know, it's unless you sat there with a stopwatch. The idea that you can say no, it wasn't 7 minutes, it was
Dave, you
10
might have
minutes
more experience
38.
of this than we do, but am I not right in saying that those were IR flares, infrared ones, which are a little bit weaker and they do stay in the air a bit longer because they've
Uh,
got parachutes on them?
I mean, it depends on what flare, what they're testing, and like there's different flares that can stay up for a while. Also depends on
Yeah.
the altitude that they were dropped on. Um, you know, could they have been without seeing it through the night vision? Um, you wouldn't know. Who knows? Who knows what they were doing?
Yeah.
Maybe they like there's a range out there at 29 Palms. Maybe the atmosphere was extra hazy and we can't see it because it's night, and that's why the flares look dimmed.
But I think it was confirmed on the video footage from the military that Mick West used to kind of debunk it,
Mhm.
that they were IR flares.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So I don't
Yeah,
know. But
I don't know, not my area, but I know they can stay up for a while.
yeah,
Mm.
but no, Mick got it totally on the nose this time. Sometimes I look at his debunks and think, really,
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah, the bird
but
one is still a highlight.
yeah, but no, this one he just absolutely nailed it. And there's the thing that gets me is Corbell and Knapp are doubling down.
Mm.
They're like, no, we know it's not flares. It's definitely a craft, but it's not. If I was them, I'd have done the smart thing and just said, right, okay, you got us. They're flares. Sorry, move on.
If I was them, I wouldn't even have put that out.
Yeah. I mean, 2 years they supposedly researched it.
Hmm.
They couldn't have done
Yeah,
very
they've
Well,
sat
What
on
could
it
be
for
the
a while.
reason for it then, right? What could be the reason? Because they must know that if they put something like that out, it's going to get pulled apart, especially by people like Mick West.
Yeah.
You can't put something out to the internet hive mind and not expect it to be sorted out pretty fast.
But can I say we didn't need Mick West though? I mean, Corbell put out an enhanced photo of these objects, and in the enhanced photo, you could see the smoke trails.
Yeah.
So we didn't need Mick West. The only thing Mick West did was come with as you say, Stu, the receipts.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't matter what Mick or any of us say, because the reality is they have a much louder microphone than we do.
Well, that
And,
megaphone's about to get bent though, because there's just too many people that said the same thing. Why ain't nobody covering it? Only the mainstream media, but no other UFO channels covering it with worth its salt.
Yeah, but the mainstream media,
the
mainstream media is covering it from the point of view of what Corbell's telling them. They're not coming along at the back end of it and saying, "Oh, you got it wrong."
Yep.
Yeah, they don't.
Well, the one thing
they don't care to correct.
The one thing I did see is one of the news people that he did an interview. She asked him, "Are they flares?"
Did he just say no?
He's doubling down.
Yeah.
Like you said, he's going to sit there and say, "I know what I'm doing. I've been in this for years. I know what I'm looking at.
I'm a UFO researcher.
I'm a ufologist.
Yeah.
I got my degree from Stanford."
Yeah, he's a subject matter expert.
I love it when he goes on about his mentor in journalism, George Knapp. Look, that's a good thing.
But this is the thing. I know I keep banging on about this on shows, but there's a concerted effort by somebody to make us believe in these things, because that's the thing. Yeah, none of the UFO channels are covering this. That's fine, but that's like a minority of alternative media.
Cambion covered it, did he not?
Sorry,
Stephen Cambion, did he not just see?
Yeah, but he's calling it a flares. He's calling that for what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched Goof On, so I don't know if he covered it or not.
I mean, I know mainstream media is what you call like failing as far as viewers and goes and stuff like that, and I think faith in mainstream media news is probably an all-time low. But even if you take that into consideration, yeah, I know we often turn around and say like, well, Rogan's like the biggest sort of media outlet when you look at the other figures, but you could take every single UFO channel and even like the failing CNN, it still wouldn't have the reach of CNN. Like everybody, even if every YouTube channel that covers aliens got on the same page, it's still a fraction.
Do you think? See, sometimes when I see something as stupid as this, it makes me wonder a serious thing. Do you think that maybe it's some sort of mass psychological test on the viewers to see who's going to say, yeah, you know what, it is because you said so?
I think it's to embed the idea that this is real in people's minds.
But how does it work when clearly anybody that's got any clout is saying, look, they're flares? And even you got Mick West, who's got the receipts.
Yeah, but who have they got clout with? That's the thing. You've got if you say you've got like us talking on this podcast to what 44 people, probably a couple of thousand by the time it's the video's done by the end of the week. Then you've got whoever Stephen Cambion's talking to, Mick West, great debunker. Don't get me wrong, but at the end, who's Mick West? He's a guy that helped develop a popular video game.
Yeah, I mean he's big within our community, but
exactly.
At large,
it's not.
I think Mick West. I think he does have a voice.
Yeah, but only
he has
to the converted though.
Yeah.
Well, I still think that they've done themselves. I don't know how to say it, but they've just done themselves injustice because everybody's going to laugh at that what they've done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think
It was
everyone in our community is going to laugh at them. Everyone who watches these things and participates and studies and who's into the subject and curious, but we're also the same ones that didn't fall for the propaganda that wasn't so massive too long ago and told everyone they were crazy, and we see how well that worked.
Yeah.
The majority of people, the masses, not us, the outliers, but the masses, they go bad and they do what they're told. That's just kind of how it is. What I think is interesting is kind of what Lee's talking about. Why are they trying to push a specific narrative? Because that's what this is about. It's pushing a specific narrative that's detailed and outlined to a parameters that they want said.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing I've noticed this time round. A lot of people are turning towards Corbell and Knapp and saying that they're disinformation, agents. They're deliberately putting out.
Yeah, I think it's very possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't surprise me,
knowingly or not. But I don't. I think the thing is with this one, I don't believe they could have not known what they were doing.
Yeah.
Totally.
So why shoot yourself in the foot?
But that's the thing, though. They're not shooting themselves in the foot. To the Netflix viewers and to the people that are watching Fox and CNN, which they go on, they're just going on and they're giving their account of this story, and all people hear is unidentified sighting over an army base. There was 50 soldiers there that didn't know what was in the sky. One of the soldiers on camera, because I think this is convenient as well, even for that footage, that you had one person in the background explaining why it couldn't possibly be flares because of like the drop pattern. That was really handy for the narrative that's being pushed here. And then you have a picture of a triangle in the sky. So to people that aren't into this stuff, that's I have absolutely like no issues with anybody that gets fooled by that, because I mean,
no, not at all.
It sounds 100% legit.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm with you on that. I feel bad for the time that they're wasting and the effort that they're giving. And please look at the picture. They did the picture themselves. They enhanced the pictures themselves. And just look at the enhance and just remember smoke trails. And you got it. Yeah. You got it. I couldn't believe when I saw the enhance. And this shame on them too. Shame on them too. Because you're telling me he didn't know when he put out that first video that everybody went nuts over the triangle on the night vision, that he didn't know that was broken. He didn't know that.
But he's still to this day doubling down on that one as well, tripling down, and basically saying, yeah, it might be like bokeh from the night vision, but those are unidentified craft. So why the hell are they flying with FAA blinks, the lights are FAA?
Well, what sold me on Mick West's theory of bokeh, and I'm going to say that it was him because I never heard of this before till he started talking about it. And there was another channel that went out, used the effects, and he recreated the triangle craft.
And you saw that too, and that just sold me. That just said, yeah, okay, this guy's a nobody, not nobody. Sorry, you're just a normal Joe. Went out with your equipment and just did the same thing and filmed the triangle UFO using what Mick West said.
Yeah. No, but this time round again, doubling down on it, and they're like,
but this is the worst.
This is the worst one it is. But they're ruining what little credibility the pair of them had. And I actually quite like Corbell. Like, I find him entertaining. I don't dislike his documentaries, although they are pretty poorly done, but they're entertaining enough. Out of all the sort of UFO documentaries that are out there, it's one of the better ones, especially the Bob Lazar one. But the guy is just not doing himself any favors any longer.
I genuinely believe that this is that I don't think they're doing it for clout. I think that's the thing. I think they're doing what they're being told to do. I think
I would
that's the
agree with you.
difference. Yeah. And like I say, what's going to happen with this is that you're going to have like normies, for want of better words, that just go to like go work every day, sit down, watch football of an evening. If you, they're not going to all of a sudden start talking about UFOs or like wanting to get involved in it. But if you do this for long enough, and I think we've been doing it for a long time now, and you look back to the New York Times article and stuff, this has been
That's
since 2017.
2017.
Yeah, this has been rolling on. But slowly but surely, like one Freiber, one drop of Boca fucking aircrafts, you're gonna have a situation where a large portion of like normiedom, if you walk up to them and say, "Do you believe in UFOs?" They're gonna go, "Yeah. I saw it on the news." It's like there was the researcher guy with the funny haircut and the like the wide eyes. He was telling me about it. Yeah, there was army officers didn't see it. There's this Tic Tac thing. The pilot was on Joe Rogan, and they're just gonna list a load of these things, which has helped them build a plot line in their head of what's going on. I 100% believe this is for something. Yeah, I know that.
Like, what do you think it's heading towards?
I mean, the extreme side of it, I think, is Bluebeam. I think that's the extreme side. I think then you could look at it as a.
What, are they going to tell us there's actually aliens and disclose, or are they just going to like create a red flag war?
I mean, what you wouldn't see. I have another theory about this. Is that I don't think there's going to. I think a war would be too difficult. Like this is proper. Like this is 15% of Lee thinks this is possible. So this isn't like the future according to Lee.
Allegedly.
Yeah. A war would be too difficult. You would have because you would need real world damage, for instance. Yeah. It's much easier to stop a war if you want to bring this like new UFO god religion in. It's in the back door, like if you want to control people. So what have we been told for decades? We've been told for decades that UFOs disarm nuclear weapons. We are in the eyes of the media on the brink of nuclear war. So all you'd really need to do if you wanted to do like the Bluebeam thing, for instance, is not have a war, is to just stop one and have something publicly stopped, like a ballistic missile is took out of the sky over the sea and disarmed. Mm-hmm. And then you have on every news network a Tic Tac there. The government can say, we don't know what they are. We think they're here, but they're here to protect us. And all of a sudden you have the new world religion, if you want to bring the right proper conspiracy dumb in. That's how if I was going to use UFOs to change like culture and I don't know, help usher in some sort of great reset, that's how I'd do it, because it would be, like I say, it'd be easier to stop a war than it would be to fake one.
Oh, Putin's playing right into whoever's hands then, because the Russians...
I 100% believe he's playing his part in this global stage, right?
Yeah, well, depends whether he gets killed or not. If he gets away with,
every single one of these people has been to the World Economic Forum.
Yeah. Every
single one of them. I know that we're on the edge here of having this discussion on the Rockfin shows, which will hopefully be starting next week. So it's probably best not going too much into this before we get told off. But yeah, I don't. I simply don't believe anything that's on the news anymore. I think that's the best way to put it. I don't believe a word of it.
Yeah, I mean, like anything, information I get out of like the Ukrainian war and that, I get it from folk on YouTube that I
Mhm.
trust the source. I don't listen to CNN or GB News or the BBC, especially the BBC, any longer because they're
No,
biased.
but they're truth
they're-
verified now.
Sorry.
They're truth verified now,
Oh
aren't they?
God.
Yeah, it's legitimate now.
I'll see that when I believe it. I mean, I know folk that work for the BBC, and even some of them are like, "What the hell are they doing?" It just is a nonsense.
You
I
can
know
you can
this is going to sound so corny and podcastery, but I am having so much interference with my internet right now. I don't know.
them.
Are you guys getting it from me? Because you guys are all breaking up.
You should have got
okay.
Geico.
No, I'm fine. I can't even tell there's anything wrong. I mean,
Speaking of,
other than the
sorry.
normal things that are wrong with you.
well, speaking of poor internet connection, funny you should mention it because Geico is offering 35% right now off their internet if you join and use code HUB 2.0. That's Geico.
It's a little segue into a plug there, Hidden.
Love it.
Sweet.
No, I what I think is interesting about that video is the logic of releasing it now. So they say they've had it for 2 years. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, if you had it for 2 years, and they're like, we've been investigating this for 2 years. You've never mentioned it, and you released it now, and you clearly don't know anything about it because you asked the public, if you guys know anything about this, contact us. What did you do with your research? Which, I mean, let's be honest, it didn't happen. And if you did get it 2 years ago, why did you wait? That would be the time to immediately get it back because those are just flares from a training exercise, man. Not 2 years later when you're launching your podcast. That didn't make sense.
That's the
And
one thing
yeah.
that frustrates me about Corbell, especially, is the fact that he sits on stuff. Knapp as well. They sit on stuff for years, literally years,
Yeah,
at a time
It's a shame.
before they release it.
But you know who doesn't?
Third phase.
No, it's the hidden underbelly, man.
Yeah, that's true. No, you get stuff out there fast, but no, they sit on stuff for so bloody long, and
Yeah.
like to me, if fair enough, do your due diligence, research it, check out what you need to check out, and then put it out. But no, they just sit on it, sit on it,
Yeah.
sit on it, sit on it. I just don't get why you do that.
Yeah, that's the logic for me that's off. It didn't. Why would you wait to get response? Why would you wait 2 years when the best time to, like, in a murder investigation, the first 48 hours you're going to get most of your evidence. Things are going to happen in the first 48 hours of any investigation. 48 hours. That's what you got. Maybe 72. But it's quick, man. It's quick. Everything's quick because things start to degrade in people's minds. Evidence degrades. Memory shift because really a memory is not accurate. A memory is really just a memory the last time you told the story.
Yeah.
So things start to shift. And we're going to wait 2 years before we throw it out, which makes me think that this, and I love a good conspiracy, but it has nothing to do with them. Maybe they were given it 2 years ago and they're like, hey, don't share that. Hold on to that. We'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll let you know when to release some flares.
Yeah, well, we'll tell you when to put it out. It's because if you look at the overall narrative that's out there in the public, they fit hand in glove perfectly with it. Like what's in the media, it's all a unified front. Anywhere you go that's mainstream, it's unified. These are craft from elsewhere. That seems to be the push. What I think is interesting are the outlier comments that are made by people like Bigelow and all these various, the various other elite people, whatever, that are like, what was it, the 60 Minutes interview where he's saying, it's like, what do you think about extraterrestrials? And he laughs. It's like, he's like, I think they're here right now. And everyone glosses over that.
I think you're going to talk about this on Sunday, but the Gary Nolan video this week as well, and him doing exactly the same thing.
I would really like to talk Sunday about how Andrew Tate is innocent.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Just like to, troll. But yeah, no, it's those outlier comments I think that are important to pay attention to. The things that are glossed over, like various interviews, you'll see people talk about USOs, things in the ocean. You'll hear military people, but nobody focuses on that.
Mhm.
They focus on the pilot that saw something. It's like, wait a minute, you telling me one of your test torpedoes or test missiles that you're firing into the ocean that you went to pick up from a helicopter got snatched from underneath and taken down, and you had multiple witnesses? Absolutely. Can we talk about that? No, there's nothing to that. But we saw a light. Like, wait a minute. Like, that's weird. I don't know. It's like they're playing a game with rules that we don't know.
Yeah.
But they do. Clearly they do, for whatever reason. It's bizarre. It's just bizarre.
I think
Lee, how's your internet?
it's okay now. I don't know what happened. I just dropped in, dropped out. We're all good.
Yes. You switched to Geico, didn't you? Well done.
I switched to Geico using what code? Underbelly.
8Q 2.0.
I think we'll find out. Like, I genuinely believe that this is, regardless of why. I mean, it could all just be a massive
Ooh, sounds good,
disinformation
man.
thing. But it could just be a massive like mind sink that we can like all spend time looking at instead of like looking at other things like heart attacks, for instance. The it's a. I think there might be a load of things, and see if there's one thing right that I think people forget that's into UFOs, and the same people that are in it. For some reason, it's if you're into ghosts and if you're into UFOs and you're into cryptids, people that are into these separate things seem to close themselves off and not think of themselves as conspiracy theorists, where realistically we're all conspiracy theorists.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the difference is because conspiracy theory is such a tainted term, and people, for instance, take UFOs so seriously, like no, well, this is real, it's not conspiracy theory. Whereas we're all in the same bubble. It doesn't matter whether you believe in Bigfoot, fucking Skinny Bob, or the lizard. If there's one thing conspiracy theorists are good at, though, I think it's analytical isn't the word, but at least not being immediately trusting. You're
right there, Hidden.
You're gonna die,
He's
man.
gonna pull through. He's gonna pull through.
That was a big hit, man. Need some water for that throat. But the thing is, see, I want to stay on this UFO topic just for a little bit. Yeah. The thing is, we can discuss all day long about Corbell, but what about the stuff that's happening now? There is something going on. I don't understand. Sorry?
Question is, there's something going on, but the question is it real?
To what point? All right, I'm not going to plug anything, but in a way, I am.
You plug away, motherfucker. You stick
as
many things in you as you want.
My last video I did. my last video that I did. Now that is an incredible sighting of a guy filming normal Joe. Filming in his backyard, and he's caught this object, and it's pretty big. Just on the video alone, you can see it's pretty big. Yeah. Now he claims that he underestimated it, but he estimated between conversations with me. Well, he said that it was about the size of a bus. Now you can see this thing flying right over his head. Yeah, quiet night, no sound, just the crickets and him talking. Now, I got this guy on my channel. This happened last year. I'm going to have this guy on my channel, and he's going to talk about this. Now, this is a real sighting. He's got it on film. Why ain't nobody talking about him or talking to him and looking at his footage? Why is it UFO channels got to be doing that on YouTube?
Because it's going to be. I mean, the UFO channels on YouTube. I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, I take it he came to you, so it.
No,
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 did you
no.
find him?
I found the footage. And if you look at the video, yeah, the last one that I did, enormous UFO, you'll hear me say it. That I hope that the guy who filmed this, because I found it on Facebook, and I thought, wow. But you know, when you find footage on Facebook, you can't trust the information. But I never saw this. I haven't seen this footage before. So I just put it on the channel, and I said that this is the information according allegedly from Facebook. And I said, if the person who filmed this sees this on my channel, can you please get in touch with me? I think 2 hours. Hey, it's my footage. So checked him out. We've talked yesterday, and he's going to come on and do an interview about it. Talk about the equipment he's using. You know, and this is what.
I must say, by saying it not real, it's not. I'm not saying I don't believe that there's stuff in the sky we can't explain. There's clearly something going on. By not real, I meant what we're being told is like what's the reason for it.
See, I don't get it, because if you really want to show real stuff, there's people like him. I'm an open person. If somebody wanted to write to me, and I'm sure by now they've got to have known about what I do, yeah, because I'm pretty much sure they know. So they could see the same footage I'm looking at and say, you know what, let's try and talk to this guy. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. You know, when the TV companies want to do licensing for people, yeah, it's not that hard for them to find the people that, you know, for these entertainment shows. It's not so hard to get those people for them to find those people. So why can't they find the genuine people?
I don't know. I've no
Why is it always military, and that is always in the mainstream? Like kind of what one of you said about
they do what they're told.
But why?
Dave's right.
Yeah.
And also we're conditioned to trust figures of authority.
That's true.
Yeah.
Until you spend enough time with them and realize you should never trust figures of authority. The last people you should be trusting.
I'll tell you what, the other thing which I think is quite dangerous, as far as for people like us doing shows like this, for no other reason, just the fact that it's fun to get on a stream and talk about this sort of stuff. When you have the like the Restrict Act and what that entails, and how that could affect like freedom of speech on the internet.
What's that?
The Restrict Act is essentially a clamp down on what would be looked at as fake news.
Right.
It's so I think they're trying to bring it in America, where we've got something similar in the UK, which is being muttered about as well. It all comes off the back of the sniffles a couple of years ago. The worry I've got is that if right now Jeremy Corbell is the mainstream narrative, yeah. So if you have something that essentially criminalizes free speech and criminalize, so you have acceptable parameters for just about every subject, then we could soon find ourselves in a situation where if we talk about even a subject as wacky as UFOs, but you veer outside of the lines of the acceptable parameters of conversation, i.e. it's a tic-tac, it's only seen over military bases. Jeremy Corbell puts the documentaries on Netflix for us all to watch and enjoy. If you veer from that, you will be deemed as disinformation. You'll lose your YouTube channel. You'll lose your social media channel. If it get, I mean,
yeah,
they're
already there with that, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. I think I can't. They are definitely trying to build a box, so there is like an accepted conversation around this subject. The question,
Yeah, those levers of control already exist. Like if we started talking about those 27 New York officers who all died under mysterious circumstances because they watched a computer and a video on that computer, this channel would be nuked.
Yeah. Rockfin won't.
Can that be the first thing we talk about in Rockfin?
We'll test it. We'll see. There's only two people I don't talk trash about: Bill Gates and Jared Kushner. I know better.
But I mean, realistically, I suppose this is kind of going around in circles a little bit now, because we don't know. I kind of feel like we're just bit parts in some sort of movie that's being played out in front of us, and regardless of whether we like the ending of it or not, there's something planned. Something is coming down the road that people are being prepared for. If you're a believer, you're going to think this is the government, priming people for real disclosure. If you're one of those types. If you're like me, you're going to think it's something that's going to be there to deceive us. I don't know. I mean,
you don't think at the end of the day, it's more to do with money and like the military-industrial complex making.
I don't believe they need that though. Like when you look at the like the day before 9/11, and he said how many $1 trillion was just lost?
3 trillion.
Yeah, and then you look at the amount of money that goes into black projects. I know Dave talks quite a lot on about like private industry being used for government projects. There is ways and means to funnel large amounts of money all over the place. Just again, like look at the investigations now that are going into things like PPE and stuff like that. Huge amounts of money have been shifted around over the last 2 years. Yeah. I just don't believe that you need UFOs to try and funnel money somewhere. There would be better, quieter ways of doing it.
Like a proxy war in a European country nobody really cares about.
No, that's ridiculous.
Dave.
It's not like we would send hundreds of billions of dollars.
Silly.
Not at all.
Yeah. With no checks. No.
Would never happen.
Pallets of money.
Yeah.
You know what the difference between $1 million and $1 billion is?
Well, how much?
About $1 billion. I'm serious. It's about $1 billion. That's the huge difference. Like I remember there used to be something. It was like if you counted 1 million seconds, it was so many days or whatever. 1 billion seconds was like 33 years or something.
It's worse than that.
Yeah, then there you go. Yeah,
a million. If you count it to 1 million seconds, it's like a month or something.
Yeah, it's something like that.
If you do 1 billion, it's 33,500 or 35,000 years or something.
Look at Stu with autism for the win. Yes, man.
It's an insane.
Yeah, it's something crazy. And a friend of mine had made that joke to me the other day, because he knows a billionaire, and the billionaire has that. That's a joke. Like it's just not my joke. He's like, the difference between $1 million and $1 billion is? He's like, no, what? It's like about $1 billion. And he's like, oh no, he's right. Yeah, like it really is. Yeah, I mean, and the U.S. alone is throwing hundreds of billions of dollars to where?
That would be really heavy. Imagine how heavy all that money would be. Do you know how you'd move it?
Not all of it's cash. Do
you know how you'd move it?
Percentage of money that exists is actual cash.
Yeah,
but to move it, you would have to crane it.
You crane it, yeah.
But don't bump.
So
there's the yellow warning.
Yeah. Well, like
that's all we get now is yellow monetization things anyway.
Yeah. So some of the various friends I have that take different contracts because of clearances that they have, that they're allowed to do things. There's tons of stuff out there right now, like just before the Ukraine thing kicked off, that they were getting opening positions for. So like people knew. Not only that, people knew, private industry knew. Like the private industry we use, like, Booz Allen Hamilton, that's doing resource collection all around the world, getting human intelligence assets and collection and all that jazz that the government and various intelligence agencies around the world contract with. You see all these different, like, you see different intelligence agencies, and they are autonomous and independent to a certain extent. But when you trace the money in the contracts, they go to a select few companies that are approved, at least in the Western world. So it leads you to believe, wait a minute, you have one country that works for the U.S., Spain, France, Germany, and Great Britain?
Remember, all of this is allegedly.
And no, this is fact. And
I know it's fact, but to
yeah,
save our
how-
asses, it's allegedly.
Yeah, and then people are like, well, that can't possibly be. It absolutely is. So now we look at the UFO narrative, and we're like, why are they pushing this? Like, no, they couldn't. No, they can. They absolutely can.
Mm-hmm.
And they do. It's that simple. Distrust everything in the media. And
I agree.
maybe tape all the cameras in your house on any of your devices.
Yeah, turn your smart speakers off.
Rotate SIM cards regularly. Whatever. You do you. I'm not saying. You just.
I work under the premise that any device I'm using is being listened into.
Yes,
it's because it is. Yeah.
Yeah. If you go along those kind of lines, it's less stress. They're listening in. I don't say anything or do anything that would harm society or anything like
allegedly.
that. So, allegedly.
So that's been my thoughts all along. Like before, we'll get onto this, onto the UFO pictures in a second. But I suppose we're going to talk about this more on Sunday when we do a show about whistleblowers. I have been convinced for years that the Edward Snowden whistleblowing operation wasn't a whistleblowing operation at all. It was merely that was disclosure of surveillance, because instead of the population going, oh well, that's crazy, we need to stop this, you shouldn't be listening to everything we're doing, everyone went, oh yeah, makes sense, kind of knew that.
Everybody called him a traitor.
And everybody just accepted the fact that governments are listening at all times. Edward Snowden was the best thing that ever happened to the surveillance state.
In what sense, Lee?
Because it made people accept it.
Right.
It's at some point, and it's not just that. And as soon as they accepted it, it meant people started willingly giving stuff across, because they thought, oh, well, you're listening anyway, so why not give my email for this thing? Why not give my fingerprint for this? Why not let you use my face? Why not have a smart speaker that's listening all the time just so I can ask it to play fucking ABBA without picking a device up? And
it's the likes of the Alexa. I mean, it does way more than that. It's effectively mapping your house.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
and in
absolutely.
Turn, if somebody next door to you's got an Alexa, it's mapping them. I mean, it's creating this, footprint of what we do, when we do it, how we do it, and I would be pretty sure Siri and the Google devices are doing exactly the same thing as well.
Yeah, I'm absolutely sure. But that's what I mean. As far as the Edward Snowden being the best thing for surveillance, like what you just said before about there's less stress if you just accept it's happening. It made everybody else just accept it. Everyone else just, instead of getting angry about it, just thought, well, best put some lube on before you fuck me.
It's that whisper in the air. Shh, just go with it.
Yeah.
Relax. Or don't. Whatever. It's still happening.
This is happening.
This is happening. Yeah.
So, Stuart, you've been fucking busy little boy putting together a selection of some of the, should I say, best or most interesting UFO photographs you could find.
Originally, we were going to go with the top UFO stuff, but the problem that I came across very quickly was the best UFO stuff is either reconstructions,
Mhm.
like drawings, or they've been debunked quite clearly. So I'm like, okay, I'll hit a couple of websites, one being MUFON, and just pull some stuff down that I think's interesting. And I downloaded some stuff that's kind of similar to the flares, so that we've got a bit of a comparison, including the classic Phoenix lights. So there's a few of the UFO images. It's lights in an arrangement of like, I don't know, half a dozen like points of light and stuff like that. And but there's some weird craft as well that I would love folk to sort of say, oh, that's X, Y, or Z, and that's a lot of nonsense. I mean, a lot of them I haven't seen before, but put it up and let the guys.
Challenge accepted.
Oh,
Yep.
have you got it to bring up, or do you want me to bring it up?
You bring it up if you got the link.
Oh.
I can give you the link, but
Oh yeah, give us the link. That'd be great.
I can do this.
Happy 420.
Unless it is in our little group chat.
It's in our group chat, but I'll get it for you. Hold on. He says.
I'm excited to be here on a Friday. This is a rare thing.
It is a rare thing. How come your normal plans fell through?
Babysitter fell through,
Mm.
so everything kind of got nuked.
Put it
And
in
I
the
was like, you know
private
what?
chat for you, Lee.
And then I just kind of thought I should come out on a Friday for you guys, and I'm never here on a Friday. Be fun.
It's good because when Lee and I were talking about, the show, and I was like, get Hidden on because, it's always good to have another person rather than just two people bouncing back and forth. It's even better with you here, Dave, because it's just four people. I think you get a better conversation going.
I have good hair too.
And I'm not going to be saying nothing.
Right. We all know this one. Calvine. That's
Mhm.
what brought me to this channel.
His.
Yep.
It's my favorite. I think this is my favorite UFO photograph. I know
It's interesting.
People shit on it, but
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Have you seen Professor Simon's last sort of video that he did on Calvine,
No.
explaining like the you reckon that
Evening.
it's have you seen it Hidden?
What, this picture here?
No, the Professor Simon's video about this picture. He's basically saying that the Harrier jets were test jets from BAE, what we used to call British Aerospace, and that is effectively a blimp that they used to test like stealth materials.
I could believe that.
Oh.
It's quite. It's. I mean, that's me paraphrasing and really condensing down what he kind of went into. But
It's a lot more interesting than trying to say it was a rock reflected
Yeah.
in water.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I actually messaged the prof and basically said, you know something, that's quite a pretty good answer to what that might be.
Very plausible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I saw the footage of the guy who went out there. I'm not going to say he lived by it, but he reckoned he found the spot, and it was nowhere. It could have been a reflection.
No, the sort of loch or lake or whatever is like umpteen miles, 8 or 9 miles down the valley.
He done it judging from the picture where the full picture, where there's the post.
Yeah, the fence post at the bottom.
The fence post. He reckoned and it did look pretty much. He found it.
Mm-hmm. I saw that video myself, and I would agree with you. So no, I mean this is probably one of the better ones in the UK. We've got other ones on the sort of 2021 images, but I would say this is definitely one of the better sort of UFO orientated images to come out of the UK in the last 30 odd years.
I hope we see the other photographs. Right, I really do.
Yeah. I hope the two guys come forward at some point.
Mm.
But
They probably threw themselves off a building with no roof access.
Allegedly.
It's okay.
you want to move on to the next one, Lee? Or
yeah, in another week we'll all be talking about Logan Paul's footage. I guarantee.
Is he going to release it?
He's part of that. There is absolutely no way in this world that isn't. He isn't part of the plot line I keep talking about. Convinced of it. Either that or I'm fucking crazy.
Because I mean,
No, it hasn't been confirmed, but it looked pretty much it.
yeah,
What?
this is Pennsylvania. Is it Tyrone or something? Taken in 2002, judging by the information at the bottom. I mean, to me, stuff like this, if you've actually seen it with your own eyes, then fair enough. But if you've just photographed it and saw it after the fact, that could be a bird, that could be an insect. You know,
Hubcap, anything.
if they got eyes on at the time, you know, whoever took this photo, and it's very
when was this taken?
2002.
2002.
October 2002 in Pennsylvania. So I'm always skeptical of stuff like this because, as I say, if they've spotted it after the fact when they've got the prints back or whatever, or digital files, they've spotted it when they got it on their computer, then I'm like, that's a bug or it's a bird.
And it looks zoomed in.
Oh, it's very cropped in. Not by me, just that's that's kind of what's presented.
It's better to have a look at the original.
Yeah, sadly they didn't put the original up. There's quite a few like that.
Because that could be overexposed as well, like you said, a bug. But because they wanted us to focus on that, we had the original to look at.
Yeah, well, there's definitely clipped highlights around the sort of tree area and stuff. So I would say at some point it's
proper distortion. Yeah. Shame. Could be onto something.
You want to fire up the next one? This one I find interesting. This was done. It was 2019 over Havana, Cuba. I don't think this is a UFO as an ET extraterrestrials. What I do think it is one of the US's maybe 6th gen drones or fighters or something.
Joe, it looks like when you see depictions of wormwood, you know, the well, like certain cultures drew pictures of what we'd refer to as like Planet X. You know, the thing is having like balls with wings coming off it. It kind of looks like that.
But it's a weird one. But again, it's too fuzzy. I mean, they're all like this. There's only one or two out of the whole collection that are relatively, sharp and detailed. And this is the problem I've got that I've sort of started to hit on a regular basis.
Yeah.
There's never a sharp, well exposed shot of a UFO.
That's actually a still from a video.
Is it? Right.
Yeah.
I think I've seen this before.
I haven't seen that before. So that's
so isn't it like ramjet engines? Don't they put out like circular bursts of smoke once the vehicle gets up to speed, so it can go like hypersonic?
Yeah, it's sort of.
Yeah, so it could be like just catching some kind of engines as it's bursting.
No, this thing was moving like in a circular manner. This is a still from an actual video.
Right.
Mick West, eat your heart out. John Lee's debunked. It is a flaming duck.
There you go.
I'd pay money to see that. I'd bring the sweet and sour sauce, that's for sure.
Oh no, press the wrong button. Sorry, Pro. Three classic UFO photograph, 3 dots of light in a black sky.
Or it's the predator on the tree of that other house.
Yeah. But I mean, this is like the same as to me, like Corbell, it's just as bad.
Yeah.
2019. That's why I put it in New Jersey. Like this could be um, people parachuting with flares on their ankles. It could be just flares. It could just be a street light. It could be numerous things. But I
Could be
don't
some sort of radio tower. Any like the down the road from my house. I've never tried to do it, to be perfectly honest. But there is 3 radio masts, all with like a red light on the top of them.
Yeah.
I'm convinced if I could be bothered to drive around enough in the dark, I could make those 3 lights look like a triangle in the sky. You know, if I put myself
probably, yeah.
in the right
We've got a
position.
similar thing. It's like the only sort of hilly area near where I stay. It's called the Heads of Air, and there's a few masts up on there. And if you go to that site at night time, you could definitely make a triangular object out of them.
Yeah.
No problem. This is interesting because this is in our neck of the woods, Lee.
Was this photograph used on the beginning of X-Files?
No.
Was it not?
That is literally the northern tip of Ireland.
Oh, is it?
You're left of that image with
Yeah.
where you stay,
Oh, yeah.
and
I
I'm
can see
right
you.
of it,
Mhm.
I can see you both. Yeah.
waving. But to the right will be the Mull of Kintyre and Isle of Arran, and then you've got where Lee stays, the Isle of Man, so further down to the left. And this will be, I would think, the Solway coast or something,
Mm.
or Northumbria. I don't know exactly, but I've seen stuff like that in our skies around here. But that was when the U.S. Air Force still had Machrihanish over in the Mull of Kintyre active. I don't know if it's still active to this date, but you used to see weird stuff flying over Arran, and like
What do you mean active?
well, the base at Machrihanish used to be a stopping off point, refueling point for U2s and SR-71s and all that kind of stuff. Supposedly, there's quite a lot of underground buildings, but the Machrihanish, as it is now, the majority of it is been sort of resold or leased to local businesses. But there is still like a few hangars, if you were to look at it on Google Earth, where the US still have a presence.
Mm.
But they've never they've never mothballed the runway. I mean, it literally points straight out to the Atlantic Ocean. And it's surrounded by mountains, and it's protected by Isle of Arran, which has got mountains on it. So I mean, it's well tucked away and hidden.
It's where you want to be.
Yeah, but I mean, we used to see like stuff coming over Goat Fell, which is the biggest mountain in Arran. Like you would see it at twilight, sun setting over Arran, and you would see like silhouettes, or you would see stuff like this of us, Saturday night or Friday night or something like that. When I was a kid, but not so much now. But yeah, this is kind of, I've seen this kind of stuff before.
If obviously I don't know where this guy's took this photograph from, but if I thought for a second that this photograph was taken by somebody like by their house or something, I would put a large sum of money on that. That's some sort of reflection in glass. It looks like, when you see the like some
type thing.
Yeah, it's got that all over it. I also think those like the two lights kind of, I don't know, do they look the same? Like it's like it's a ghost of each other. I suppose one looks kind of smaller, doesn't it?
I don't. I mean, I'm not claiming this to be flying saucers.
Oh no.
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 And I quite agree with you. It could quite easily be reflections on glass. But again, the problem with like the websites that I visited, apart from the little byline of it was shot in July 07 off the coast of Ireland, there's very little, information linked to the images. You have to then take the MUFON code, go into their system, and search for the actual case itself. And I just didn't have time to do that to get any more information. But I just thought, again, it's along the lines of what Corbell put out, except it's at sunset.
MUFON don't check their submissions.
They're not, right? Why doesn't that surprise me?
Don't. Yeah, the only thing they do check for is like channels being shiesty, like taking a picture and then pasting the link to their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But other than that, they don't check for much. So I'm not saying they're not a credible source. I'm not, but you know what I mean? You still have to use your discernment.
I think it's interesting going through these photographs or photographs like this, because this has been my problem now for a while since I started doing stuff on this channel. Because I was never like, I've always been interested in UFOs and stuff. I was never like the UFO guy. I thought coming on Alien Addict, where there was a load of UFO guys, someone would have like a proper smoking gun, photograph that I'd never seen before. And then when you start going through photographs, it just ends up like this, where you go, actually, like, apart from funny things in the sky, where's the real evidence for why we're here? And it's
that's why photographs without like the witness and like you're saying, source, all they can do is source it back to MUFON. It has to be a damn good photo coming out of MUFON.
Yeah. Here we go again. Funny lights.
Well, that's the same light, isn't it?
No,
they are slightly different.
No, I think he's, like when you move your camera just a little bit as you take the picture.
There's definitely the light trails. There's definitely.
But that could be balloons.
Oh, of course, yeah. That's
could be Chinese. It could be Chinese lanterns.
Right. Yeah.
I'd say it's over water because there's a reflection.
Yeah. But why is there only? That was the thing that kind of made like weird. Like, why is only 2 of them reflecting and not the rest? If you know what I mean. It kind of looks like a little bit like a copy and paste job to a certain extent. Especially like the grouping of like from left to right. You've got 2, then another 2, then another 2. The 2 in the middle and the 2 at the end kind of look as if they've been copied and pasted.
This picture is what we call in the trade sketchy.
Yeah. I put it in because it just was another example of
Corbell's job.
Corbell, yeah.
Sketchy.
Well, I have a UFO photograph of that. I suppose, given what we're doing, I should have dug it out to do it. It's only one light, but because of trying to take a photograph of something so far away, it's like a streak with like it's kind of like it basically looks like a flying sperm in the sky.
I reckon there's 6 objects there, but there was 6 lights, and they just took a picture. Or this could be if it's still from, but it could be anything. They could be something quite mundane as Chinese lanterns.
Yeah.
2 orbs, but that picture, it's Corbell.
So Chris Rogers just said in the tweet thing, it's an Audi indicator, which is clearly fucking nonsense because no one's ever seen an indicator used on an Audi, so it can't possibly be one.
Allegedly.
What the fuck is this? That's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously the image in the background is the actual image, and then the inserts or whoever's done it. Close up taken in Germany in 2009, and I thought, wow, that's quite interesting. I've not seen anything like that before.
When was that taken? 2009.
2009, yeah. In Würzburg, or whatever it is, Germany.
2009. When would we have been using LED lights? on the roads.
Oh,
LEDs didn't come into about 2016. We started to use them regularly. Like throughout the UK, they were getting replaced. I don't know about Germany, though. Maybe Germany had the LED lights way earlier.
I think you can
Oh,
argue
sorry.
that this could
Pictures.
be the moon,
Mhm.
like through the cloud. You could argue that that's the moon. That's wild. This must be an enhancement, though, isn't it? It's not just a simple zoom job, because like you can see all this sort
Yeah.
of this
Where
veiny
the-
stuff going through it.
I
Where
don't
the
know.
LED lights would be.
And also, they've done a
Again,
weird job
it's
on the ring, haven't they? Because that looks like a sort of perfect circle, whereas
I don't know,
they've,
man.
they've got some sort of strange
The,
thing going on.
Yeah, like
A
the
picture.
zoom in enhancements, what makes it kind of like shady.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
interesting.
It's sketchy. It's sketchy.
Yeah, just that as a photograph, if that was real, is fucking wild, isn't it?
This-
I just think,
Still really cool though.
yeah.
This is the thing I'll say though. Like since like starting to come on the channel and like do bits and pieces with Lee and Ollie, I have become way more skeptical of stuff. Like even like so I've done a 180 on Bob Lazar recently. I used to
Mhm.
believe his story. Now I just think it's complete and utter bullshit.
Mm.
And like there's so much now. I mean, I put a video up on our group chat last night, Lee. I don't know if you watched it. The guy was debunking Roswell, and it's pretty compelling. In fact, we really need to talk about it one night. I've
Yeah, it'd be
downloaded
good.
it. It's pretty compelling what he's saying. The craft where that crashed.
Mhm.
And he comes with the receipts, which is something that I quite like. And I'd never heard this reasoning for what Roswell potentially was before. I'm not going to get into detail just now, but it was man-made and it wasn't, alien crafts or anything like that. So, yeah, I've become really, really skeptical of all this stuff. And I just think about 95, 96% of the stuff that I'm showing you just now.
Mm.
I mean, I think you could easily find a mundane reason for what the light is. As you say, that smaller one could definitely be the moon through clouds.
Mm.
Don't know about the ring thing, but I mean,
All I
and
can see is LED lights now.
yeah,
Oddly enough, that's the way it's like effervescent sort of like look to it. It looks a lot like how James Fox described the UFO in the video that I think Logan Paul's going to release. He said it like it looked like a living skin, didn't he? That sort of glowed like phosphorescent. So
let's hope he delivers.
Yeah, that's where it conjured up in my
Yeah.
head when he started talking about it. Because the first thing I thought was, I think you've got is the orange UFO. I think you've got it in the slide here later on.
Yeah.
As you say about being skeptical, sorry, Hidden, but as you say about being skeptical, I remember saying I think it was like 2018, 2019 to Ollie and Rich when they were on the show that I believed with it in a not so distant time, we would be the conspiracy theorists for not believing in the UFOs. And I think you can kind of see that's beginning to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the guys that were talking about UFOs are starting to get skeptical of it, and UFOs are all of a sudden on the mainstream news, on like nightly news. They're a very, very strange time to be alive. This is pretty wild because I have seen this with my own eyes.
I think this is again still from a video.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that caught my interest is the fact that it does actually say this craft made a 90-degree turn.
Wow.
So whoever's captured this in 06 in Toronto and Canada has actually witnessed whatever the heck this is. Because you could easily say it looks like a meteorite or something coming into the atmosphere, or I don't know, some kind of plane lit up. I don't know what. But anyway, the fact that it's made a 90-degree turn is interesting. It's just a pity there's no other like photographic or video evidence of it actually doing that 90-degree turn.
I'd love to know what color it was, because obviously this is on night vision. But
Yeah.
that's the being on night vision is a close approximation of what I saw above my house. It was if you type green fireballs in there, they've been seen all over the world, and that was straight, like coming. It wasn't coming down; it was just coming straight along the sky. It passed over me, off out, if towards Ramsey, to anyone that knows the Isle of Man. And the interesting thing about that story, if anyone hasn't heard it, that's watching this show, is I was I went to work the next day. My friend lives 5 miles down the road from me, who I was working with at the time. I came into work and said, "You'll never guess what I saw last night." And he's like, "Wasn't big green fireball, was it? Like in the sky about 9:30?" I was like, "Oh yeah, it was actually." And I was completely deflated because I was going to tell him my UFO story. And he stood outside his house having a cigarette at the same time I saw it, and it would have passed over his house first before it went over mine and then carried off on its way. But I mean, I saw it for a good 15 seconds, I think, till it was out of my like sight, and I don't believe it burned up. I think it didn't look like it was burning up as like when you see a shooting star like fizz it come in and fizz out. It just looked like it was moving further away from me, and it was going at an absolutely fucking lick through the sky. It was really weird, completely silent. There was no noise, anything like that. It's really weird.
No, but they say this one kind of caught my eye just from the fact of the little 90-degree turn. I can imagine if a few folks saw that in Toronto, Canada, and saw that thing, speeding along and then doing a 90-degree turn on it, that could be worthy of, getting in the news and stuff. But again, there's no real context to it, so you got to be skeptical of this stuff.
I think you got to be. Well, this is the thing. If you're not skeptical when we're talking about fucking spaceships and aliens, then you're crazy.
Yeah.
That's the top and bottom of it. Is you have to be kind of skeptical about these things. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, this is effectively Machu Picchu in Peru. It's just literally around the corner from that sort of.
Don't say that. Dave will get upset. Should it be now, Dave?
No, I wouldn't have gone just yet. I think I would have gone like next week.
Oh, motherfucker.
But Peru and New Mexico and quite a lot of the South American countries seem to get a lot of UFO stuff going on around mountains and volcanoes and things like that. So.
It would be interesting if you were to sit down with like a bunch of really good researchers that have been doing this sort of thing for a while and mapped out the hotspots of activity.
I think there's a website that has that. Don't ask me what it's called, but I think there's an up-to-date like Google Maps style pins website.
Because I think you'd find that the various phenomena, hotspots in single places. Oddly enough, I was watching a thing today about crop circles.
Is that the Y-Files, AJ's channel?
Yeah. And
I love his stuff.
Yeah, it's great. But that I remember crop circles being a big thing in the 90s when I was a kid.
Yeah, me too.
And especially when you look, I think it's interesting when I look back further, because I was born in 82. So in that sort of late 70s, early 80s, like it was really big. And it could be these cycles, but like crop circles, again, something that kind of just seems to happen in the UK.
It does happen in the US as well, though.
But not to the same volume and like
No, it's definitely.
frequency.
I kind of put crop circles in the same category as UFO
Mm.
abductions. In other words, I just kind of don't believe it. And I think it's like a hoax. But when I watched AJ's video and
Yeah.
like the reasoning he put behind like how stuff was created, and that kind of piqued my interest. And I thought,
See,
you know,
I
something
knew that
we should talk
already.
about. We should talk about
Yeah.
that one night.
Yeah, I knew that already about the idea that the stems essentially steam and
See, I
pop.
didn't know that at all.
Yeah, that makes them go down. Yeah, that's why I've never really bought the. To be fair, for the same reasons, he didn't buy the "it's all man-made" like thing because I can't remember where I read it, but I remember reading it a long time ago about the like the buds on the corn popping or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Um,
I watched a documentary once whereby they were analyzing and he does mention it, the little iron filing contents, little balls of
yeah, yeah.
like metal and stuff like that. And so I was aware of that, but no, I wasn't aware of. And also the clip where um, it like shows binary like man, the Earth, where we are in the solar system,
Yes, yeah.
the
Well,
Arecibo, and then
that was
there's
the
an
same
answer
place.
to it.
Yeah, and that was at the same place as the disc and the grey like thing were put there as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the grey is wild. You know, even if that's a human art project, like you know,
I mean, how do you do that? Because
you're
obviously
working with
now
grass and you're
you
shading. There's shading involved.
yeah. I mean, like you get people who do like draw like art in snow
Mm,
or ice or in sand, but what they do now is they're putting a little drone up so they've got a bird's eye view,
yeah.
and that makes sense. Fair enough.
Mm,
Um,
But
but
not for them.
for crop circles, like back in the night, like the technology wasn't there. The closest thing you could have put
no.
up in the air would be like a gas powered, like radio controlled helicopter or something, which are
Mm,
difficult to control and
mm,
expensive to run. Generally speaking, you crash them more than you fly them. But also, the camera technology wasn't there either, and
Mm.
neither was a live downlink. So, um, you know,
what we're doing them then?
sorry, hidden.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. What would
Yeah, I know. So I mean, like to be able to do that grey and the shading on it and all that stuff, that was just unbelievable. I've never seen that before either.
Yeah, I know. Again, I kind of I think now because there's more information, or there should be more information around than ever before.
Mhm.
Um, I think there's probably more interest to be had in looking for the stuff that is less promoted. You know, there's the the stuff that's cool is allowed to be put through. You know, the algorithms sift through everything.
Yeah.
So the conspiracy theories that aren't sort of pushed to the top of the pile of the conspiracy ones are probably where the most meat is on the bone, and crop circles are definitely right. If they're not on the bottom of the pile, they're around that area.
Oh, I mean, I haven't heard anyone talking about crop circles in at least 10 years.
No, I
That's the
haven't.
that's the first video. I mean, the one thing I'll give AJ is, I mean, I've watched his channel, um, from like when he had less than 1,000 subscribers, and very quickly he is within 2 or 3 years, he's over 2 million subscribers.
Thoroughly deserved as well. Thoroughly deserved.
The production value on that show is just phenomenal. It really
Mm.
is. I aspire to, the stuff that we're doing, get to that level
Yeah.
because it's just so nicely done. But I mean, AJ is a producer. He worked for various channels, including Discovery and stuff like that. I believe his wife was in the industry.
So you're trying to tell me he's in the Illuminati anyway?
Yeah, he's definitely Illuminati. But no, I mean, just but the topics he comes up with. But the thing that I love about his channel, just to kind of digress, is the fact that he usually tells you the story of what's been going on, and then he, in some cases, debunks it,
Yeah,
and that's unusual.
it is. Yeah,
To get that spin on it, and just the way the scripts are written and stuff like that, and the way you can tell, and they've obviously got the little heckle fish, the goldfish that talks. I mean, that's genius.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, apart from anything else, from a marketing, merchandising perspective, I mean, the guy is selling plushy heckle fishes,
Yeah,
out the wazoo. He's making a fortune with them, and good on him. It's really, really. I mean, it's not the most complicated thing to do, but it's time consuming because obviously you've got to. He's got to do his bit, then he's got to, to react to it and stuff like that. It's a time consuming way to produce a video, and that's why I think he's getting so much praise for what he's doing because they're putting the grind in to get the output. It's really, really good. But no, he opened my eyes to crop circles when I saw that video because I just put that in the same category as alien abductions. Full of shit, don't believe in it.
as Higgs points out here, we don't need hecklefish.
We have an Ollie with these hard nipples.
I miss his hard nipples.
I'm glad they're dead.
No one will find that body.
No, that one's good.
Well, not all of it anyway.
Are we
Piece
going to
doesn't count.
play? Oh, there it is. Oh,
Yep.
well,
Hunt the
this
UFO in this one.
This is a clear Photoshop, isn't it?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, but again, like what Hidden said, if they're not checking the stuff like that, I mean, if you actually look at like the sky around the,
It's blurry.
It's blurry, but also it's a different density, like shade to the rest of the grey sky.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've seen that as a video, a bad CGI. What would you say, Adobe?
Yeah. God, I mean, there's a thing to digress again. Adobe's
I think
released a new version.
that whole section has been drawn in as well, hasn't it?
You know the thing.
Sorry, go on.
You know the thing about MUFON, yeah? Because I go on MUFON, I check it every day. Sometimes 4 times a day, man. You can get footage out of there as well. That's it's Mendy, but the pictures I'll never.
I think this is doable.
Can we not talk trout for the show? But no, I think this is a fake one as well when I looked at it originally. But again, it's out of the same place as the LED lights one that we just looked at a few images ago. So I think this is fake. But again, who knows? Yeah, it could be still from a video as well. Had to shove one of the Billy Myers one in. Just to bend Michael Thorne's ear.
Yeah.
He say his name 3 times, he shall appear. But no, yeah, we all know about Billy.
We think hung from fishing. Why are we thinking?
Yeah, I'd say so.
So he caught it moving 3 times in one frame.
Is that what he said?
That's supposed to be?
Oh, well, that's bullshit, isn't it? I mean, they're different. They're not even the same thing.
Look at the landscape, the greenery and the light greenery. Can you see it?
Yeah, this here. Well, that's the land of Oz. That's the land of Oz over here. That's where it's real.
Yeah, that's where they're coming from.
That's where they came from. Yeah.
The Yellow Brick Road.
Unfortunately, the Yellow Brick Road is paved in bullshit. That's a fly.
Yeah. The thing is, you can clearly see, like, there's a person walking along the beach, sharp, boat behind him, relatively sharp, blurry fly close up. It's either a bird or a fly, or realistically, an insect. And it was like, why the hell would you even consider that to be a UFO?
Well,
Actually, maybe. Oh
that's
no,
what goes in.
no! We're looking in the wrong place.
Well,
There's a
where?
fucking reptilian here.
Yep.
Look at how he stood. That's not a fucking human being.
That's actually Ollie's photograph from his holidays. That's
Yeah, and
Ollie.
No, those are all nude.
And underneath that hand is a 12-year-old boy.
A little old, right? It would be something younger.
This was
Fresher.
shot supposedly in 07 at Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It's a feckin' fly.
That's not Brazil. Nobody's getting mugged. There's not one stab wound on that person. That's not Brazil.
But there is a 12-year-old boy underneath that hand.
But I mean, let's be honest. That could be any beach anywhere, right?
Yeah, I agree.
The Clinton Foundation ships internationally.
Poor Moon.
That's funny. That's a leaf.
Where is it? Where is it?
It's up there on the corner.
That leaf there. That there. What the hell is that?
It looks terribly similar to these trees.
Mm-hmm.
What
Arizona in 06, I think it is.
Oh,
what are we thinking is causing this intergalactic object?
I have no idea. It's not lens flare.
Could it be bugging on the windshield?
Could be a bug in the windshield. Don't know. But, you know, it's
if that's in Arizona, it's probably not a bug on the windshield because that windshield is 194 degrees and it's got everything on it.
I think it's just a palm leaf that's flown off one of these trees. Someone's just happened to snap it at the right time, and it's just got a bit of reflection of the sunlight on it.
I would agree with you. I don't think that's
I think you're too dismissive. That's a camouflage UFO.
I think so.
It is.
On a side note, those palm trees are amazing when they catch on fire.
Oh, bet you.
Oh yeah,
Or get struck by lightning. I've seen a palm tree get struck by lightning.
I've seen a few burn from fireworks, but never seen one get hit by lightning. But they're glorious.
I think that's real.
You think that's real?
I'm standing on all of these are real.
If there's any doubt, 100% real.
Yeah,
I love this blurry one. You know, who the hell would? I mean, that could be.
That's so good.
Brake light from a '56 Cadillac.
That could be the out of focus embers from your barbecue.
Supposedly, it's shot from somebody taking a picture of Area 51.
Yeah,
of course it is.
And I'm like, really?
Do you know what the funny thing is, though? It's probably the ones which are fucking ridiculous, which is where somebody has seen something interesting. Yeah, you know, it's because who would even if you were going to try and fake something, you'd do better than this.
Yeah, I think it's heavily cropped into it as well. But I just laughed my head off when I saw that. I thought I'm going to put that one in.
That's good enough that it could be a random picture in a Stephen Greer documentary.
I see this. You know what?
Probably
welcome to my world. I see this every day. Every day on MUFON. But sometimes they have some gems.
I've no idea. But
testicles?
That feels like if that should be in focus, but it's not.
You know what that is?
Aliens.
Giant's testicles.
Right.
It's hidden in camouflage, all except for that.
Just as balls showing.
Ballsy move. See him laying there on the mountainside?
What's the best guess at what we're looking at here?
No idea.
Is that fuckery? Is that some sort of fuckery just there? Because that seems to be cloned.
Yeah, that is fuckery.
The hilarious thing is
fine.
that's where the actual UFO is. They covered it up, at least the photo. They're like, what's that little thing? It's an actual UFO, but as long as we blot out the big one up close so you can see,
Yeah,
no one will
somebody's
believe the
got-
one in the back.
Somebody's definitely got happy with the clone stamp tool on that one.
Yeah. That's it.
Well,
As soon as there's an element of fuckery,
It's real.
that's it. It's bullshit.
Made me laugh.
Just-
anyway.
Is it so much to ask for just to find a real picture of an intergalactic fucking space being?
Phoenix lights.
Well, that's clearly UFO.
Absolutely. That thing is gigantic. It's like 2 miles long
Yeah.
across the state.
See, do you know what? There's
With
one I
thousands
used
of
to.
people.
I used to hold on to the Phoenix lights, and then as I slowly started to get like not stupid, I suddenly realized like even like, it was it was fucking 1997. Where's all the other footage of the Phoenix lights apart from this one angle?
I think there's 3 videos that float about.
Yeah, but it was above Phoenix.
Yeah.
And that, it's I know I said that to Rich once.
I love
and
the
he-
fact that they misspelled Phoenix as well.
that was probably copyright. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Fion.
I remember saying like I said this, and I was hit with, oh yeah, well there wasn't like lots of people didn't have like there was no cell phones with cameras on and stuff like that. I had a fucking video camera when I was fucking 16 in 1997. 1997 was when home video recorders became fucking cheap, and everybody had one. Everybody's
You used to
everyone's
get a
Christmas
little-
presents was filmed. It was on those stupid little tapes that you had to put inside another tape to play in your VCR. There would have been plenty
Mini
of
DV
camcorders.
tapes.
Yeah, plenty of them. So yeah, I'm firmly of the opinion Phoenix Lights was bullshit.
I've never liked the story at all. I've struggled with it from my whole life. Anytime it comes on the TV, I tend to switch it over because I've watched it quite a lot, and I just think I'm skeptical of that more than anything.
Mhm.
I don't know what they saw, but it's a weird one. But I just thought, again, it reminds me of what Corbell's been doing in the past week. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what Knapp and Corbell were chasing. They wanted their Phoenix lights,
That's why they waited 2 years.
and they didn't get it.
Yeah. The response to the Phoenix lights, what bothers me is like if it's over the city, so many people see it, which obviously happened. A lot of people did see it. They didn't scramble anything.
No,
Nothing took off.
there was an Air
There was
Force
no
base.
response.
There's an Air Force base quite close to Phoenix. isn't there not?
There's several.
There's
Yeah,
several, right?
they have a hell of a response out there, man. They can, yeah. I mean, nothing. And when you're talking jets too, from Phoenix they could be sending them out from California,
Yeah.
like from Vegas, from the Area 51 that allegedly doesn't have planes there. From like there's plenty of bases around because as the bird flies and the speed at which those things move,
Well, you've
there's
got
no
Edwards Air
response.
Force Base.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, is not far away.
Not at the rate of a jet. Yeah,
No.
Nothing.
But anyway, you're quite
Yeah.
correct. They didn't scramble a single jet into the air. And this thing was seen over the whole state over a period of hours.
Mhm.
I remember
Night.
it. I remember I remember it being on the news
Yeah,
in the
so
morning
did
when
I.
I woke up one day. But I think it was on like GMTV or whatever the ITV's morning breakfast show was at the time.
TVAM or something. like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, no,
Um,
it would be GMTV. You're quite right. But
Yeah,
no, I again, I remember it. I've watched documentaries about it, but I haven't believed in it at all in years.
mm.
Come on.
I was always skeptical of it.
See, again,
But Kurt Russell seen him. Isn't that validation enough for you?
did anyone else? That was so weird.
It's weird.
Kurt Russell.
Did you not know
we
that?
saw them.
He
felt
was
that.
the first one to call into the FAA and
Right.
report it that he was seeing an object in the lights that it was like it was
Yeah.
Kurt Russell flying a plane.
And
Ain't that validation for you, Stu?
was he on This Morning? Was
Well,
that
it's
it?
Kurt
Was he was on This Morning? I know it was on it was in the UK. I
Come
think
on.
it was This Morning. He was on when he was talking about it.
Yeah.
And it was luckily enough, it was one of the days where I wasn't at work and I was just fucking around in the house. And then the next thing is Kurt Russell's on saying he saw the fucking Phoenix lights.
Mhm.
And he's just like, what fucking planet am I on here for a split second?
One of the interesting stories one of the interesting stories about the Phoenix lights is that the object, right before the lights were seen, the object was seen flying over the reservations, which is, just outside of Phoenix. And it stayed there for a while too. And they called their police and everyone just kind of went out in chairs and watched it because it was up there for so long. And then it kind of started moving again.
Yeah.
And those accounts are interesting. There's a couple former law enforcement officers from the reservations, and they have different like paranormal things they talk about. And this is one of them. They're very interesting, very credible guys. It's very interesting. I don't know.
See, again, this is some of one of the things that I let my head fuck around with sometimes is like we talk about the 2017 being the beginning of like whatever this slow news trip we're in seems to be. What if it wasn't? What if the beginning of this was Roswell? What if we're only seeing it in the short, narrow time that we've been taking notice of it? And what if the beginning of this like ramp up of what we're experiencing now started way back then, way back with the who was it? Was that Admiral Byrd that saw the flying saucers? No.
He saw the hole in the North Pole or South Pole.
Yeah, who saw the flying?
Martin.
Who coined the term flying saucers? It was a pilot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Going in Alaska, right? Going
Yeah,
towards
I
Alaska?
forgot what his
Yeah.
name was. Someone in the chat will tell me.
Surely, yeah.
Someone in the chat's probably got them tattooed on the fucking bell end. But
Just when
But
you're
the-
saying about like Roswell, I'm going to dig up that video I put into our chat window of the
please.
guy. Like it's TikTok. I mean, we should be able to play it no problem. Hold on.
See, isn't it interesting that they went over the Indian reservation?
Well, to be fair, a lot of Arizona and out in the West is different Indian reservations.
So there's quite a few.
Yep. Yep.
Because there's still very spiritual people in touch with the.
I mean,
Yeah,
I wouldn't speak for him for a whole people.
No.
I know that if you stop there, you're going to pay 4 times as much for anything like at a restaurant than they would. And that's kind of the markup you go with. That's been my experience.
I think this is a-
It's because you've got to walk in like with your own skinwalker and spirit guide, and that's how you get the discount.
Leo,
Yeah,
put that in the
Something
chat.
like that. Yeah.
I
Um,
think it's only about 3 minutes long, but it's a compelling.
See, I like to believe that we are still in touch with our spiritual ancestors.
If that's what you believe, then you are. I think it's just that simple.
oh, it's your guy, Dave. We'll bring that up in 2 seconds. So, well, let's go through these photographs, and
Right.
then we'll go back to that because we've not got many left. See that? I mean, that definitely looks like some sort of instrument. I would believe that is man-made.
That could be balloons.
Yeah,
Yes, that's exactly what I was just thinking. It looks like a balloon cluster.
yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a 4 balloon cluster for like a weather relay or something.
Could even be something coming down, or if it was like a 3 balloon cluster, and then that is, whatever's being ejected from something or dropped from something. It's probably coke. Probably a big.
That's probably if it was Coke, it wouldn't be coming down.
That's some sort of craft. That's some sort of alien craft.
This
man.
is supposedly the night, the story of the person who was it like New Jersey or Brooklyn or somewhere that was abducted. And it was seen by quite a lot of people from the Brooklyn Bridge, I think.
Oh, when they were supposed to be taken, were they dragged out
Yeah.
of through the
Yeah.
wall?
This
Yeah.
is supposedly taken the night after or the day afterwards.
What are we
Interesting.
looking at?
So this is
There's a fine saucer there hidden.
that blob.
Or Batman. Or Mothman.
Let's see a bird.
Well, that's what I reckon it is.
Hmm.
I would say it was a bird.
Oh yeah, no, I can see it now. Yeah, you're probably right. It's probably a bird.
That's why I was asking, what are we looking at? Are we looking? They want to say, are we looking
Again,
at
this
that
is
bird?
the crap that they seem to put up on MUFON.
Thank you. Welcome to my life, man. I've been doing this for 6 years, man.
Well, if a nice thing is
Batman.
Batman,
Told you
I'll
it's
take
Batman.
Batman. I'll take Batman.
Mothman.
Batman.
No, he's real.
I don't think they see Mothman in the daytime.
I have.
Could be Ingrid
See-
Cole.
This is my sorry to your man here. I can't read his name on my monitor because I've got the brightness
Wow.
turned right down.
Unacceptable
Nice.
views.
Yeah, it's possible to fake sighting with literally hundreds of people reporting the same thing. Hundreds of people can't all be wrong. I mean, you're right, but what happens over time? Was it 100 people? Like, was it like a couple of people and then a couple
For
of
the
people
Phoenix
joined
thing?
in? No, I'm talking about this. Like this, for instance, here.
Oh, because I was say the Phoenix thing was a lot of people.
Yeah, there was. But again, there's a lot of people, but very little video evidence of it.
Well, what my eyes are showing
Well,
me.
I think there
Oh,
was
sorry.
more video evidence. It just didn't catch on. Like nobody aired it. Like pick like 2 or 3 to roll
Mm.
with,
Mhm.
and I guarantee people have them in like at this point their grandparents' closets or whatever. If it didn't get recorded over.
But you would think more of that would have come out.
Wasn't the internet then? There wasn't YouTube then. I mean, well, there's the internet, yes, but
Yeah.
not like we have it now on phones with
Mm.
ready access. It was VHS tapes. Back in the day, it was mainstream media. They picked what tapes they want. That's what they went with. Those are the clips we have now. I would love for people to go back through and find it. It's not like the digital immediate upload age. I think that would have been unbelievable if we could have something like that again, for better or worse.
Mhm.
I mean, YouTube was a thing in 2005, so I feel that it you'd have had more by then, surely.
Then you'd have to convert it from VHS to digital. You'd have to get the those little DV recorders came along a lot later.
Yeah.
Even that, like so in like 96 here in the US,
Mhm.
I probably knew, maybe 3 families that had, video recorders.
Do you think? I'd say.
Yes,
See that
very
maybe
serious
that,
about that. It was not everywhere.
see, maybe that was different than in the UK because like home video recorders really took off in the UK.
Here, they really took off in the mid 2000s. That's when they got crazy cheap and they were digital and there was point and easy and everyone had them. Before then, they were like shoulder mounted rockets, right? From like the 80s into the 90s. And then the 90s got smaller. And
But you had
got digital.
that sort of thing in the middle of with the small tapes and small sort of handy cam sort of thing going on.
Yeah.
I don't know the
And here they were really expensive.
yeah,
Back in in the aughts, I sold
stuff
electronics like that for a little while as one of my ridiculously jobs where I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And even then, like you're going to get a handy cam, cool. It's $1,500.
Yeah.
And it's like not everyone's doing that. They don't care.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. But see, this was the one I was hoping would come in. This is what I think is the type of thing we're going to see in the
Logan Paul.
The Logan Paul video.
That's why I put it in because I thought that's just what James Fox was kind of describing on Rogan's podcast.
I think we'll see it shortly after he refunds all that money he owes.
Who?
Logan Paul for his crypto pump and dump. Yeah, could happen right around the same time.
Is this the Animal Farm thing, the game?
Whatever the unique crypto weird pump / game / NFT thing that just kind of went nowhere. But
I do think he only put like 100 grand into that though. I think that's one of the one of the interesting things about that. But I don't know. I quite like Logan Paul, but I do think I find it so weird.
I think on that crypto thing, he kind of got screwed over as well in the sense that he was on. You know,
maybe, probably. Who knows?
I mean, I've read that Chuck Clark will. I mean, he's basically come out and said he will sue Logan Paul if he puts out the video. But the problem he's got is
it's not
he doesn't own that video.
No, and it doesn't matter. So okay, sue me. I'll pay you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. The
Logan Paul will make more on ad revenue putting that video on YouTube than anything that he'll get out, like Chuck Clark will get out.
Yeah, and that's what he's good at is marketing.
Exactly.
He understands how to, and that's exactly what he's doing with that video. There was I saw a TikTok he put up. I know I mentioned this a few weeks ago, and it was about one of the Prime adverts he put up, and he explained how you could make like X amount of millions of social media hits through 100,000, and it was they put a post up for Prime. It got 100,000 views. Somebody took that poster and just cropped it slightly, so where KSI was holding like a bottle of Prime, all of a sudden it looked like KSI was sucking Logan Paul off as a bottle of Prime. They
got like millions of views, did it not?
So but then they retweeted it, which got them millions of views. Then they used that very same picture as a viral marketing campaign and got cardboard cutouts everywhere, and that then got so much extra views and stuff like that. He's a fucking genius marketer. Either that, or he comes across as a genius marketer, and in the background he has an actual genius telling him what to say. Which could also be true.
I do think the Paul brothers are pretty savvy when it comes to marketing and understanding.
Yeah,
it's all they've done. It's all he's done. All he is, he hit YouTube at a time before the influencer. He became. I mean, realistically, it's Logan Paul or PewDiePie who were the models for the first influencers. Yeah, and I'd say Logan Paul was essentially the first influencer, really, because he was famous for no reason. Right. PewDiePie was famous because he was a streamer, so he hit the video game stream thing. Yeah. Logan Paul was just famous because he was Logan Paul.
Yeah, but
and he had a really. He had a really interesting vacation to that forest in Japan.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, that's quietly made him, didn't it?
That's where I heard about him.
It did him dirty initially, but it's pretty much made him long term. I mean, Logan Paul and Jake were Viners. They used to do 6-second skits. And when Vine basically went the way of the dodo, they quickly moved over to YouTube and reinvented themselves. And that's where his fame actually comes from, is Vine. He was really successful on Vine, but it wasn't until he moved over to YouTube, as did all the other big Viners, that he started to bring in the big bucks. But yeah, no, I can't. You can say what you like about Logan and Jake Paul. I prefer Logan to Jake. Jake's not I just don't like the guy. But they are shrewd marketers. You can't say anything else other than that.
Oh yeah, they built a brand, and I think this UFO video will be bigger than his Japanese vacation.
Well, look what he did with the which I think was a fucking hilarious documentary. The Flat Earth one.
Yeah, that was
so very well done. Good. Like And there was an even when that was coming out, there was even some like viral marketing about that, about how it had to be put together in like 10 minutes because he lost his video producer and stuff like that, which was clearly all nonsense. It was just more hype to hype this video that came out, and like I
fooled
thought,
everybody because he had everybody believing he turned into a flat earther.
Yeah.
And obviously people who like are not flat earthers are like, are you a fucking idiot? But they're hanging on to the story, and he also fooled the flat earth community.
Yeah.
And like totally screwed them over. It was hilarious.
Yeah, because I doubly enjoyed that at the time, because I was like, flat Earth was like the conspiracy, so I was fucking all over looking into that. Like
Please tell me you didn't get sucked in by Eric Dubé.
oh no, I watched loads of stuff. I hate the guy. I think he is so fundamentally dislikable. I don't understand how he's has this cult of personality with people. No, I was never the sucker for the flat Earth thing. I just found it fascinating. I still find it fascinating. I think
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, a bit of a guilty pleasure is dipping into some of the flat Earth nonsense that you get.
I think
fun.
ultimately, but I think ultimately is this goes with my theory that it's the stuff that is pushed down in the algorithm where there's some meat on the bone, and I don't think necessarily the world's fucking flat, surrounded by an ice wall, but I do think there's
See the whole. I mean, that's another thing. See the whole ice wall thing.
Yeah,
That was never part of the flat Earth narrative until Game of Thrones came out.
I know. I think it was.
Not like the way they talk about it. Honestly, it was like Game of Thrones. The ice wall in Game of Thrones is what totally brought that ice wall narrative into the mainstream.
Maybe because I know I was sniffing around like the flat Earth stuff before Game of Thrones, and I the first like flat Earth map I came across was the disc with the ice wall around it.
Right.
But you might be right. I'm not sure, because like
Yeah, I think they always had like an ice wall, but the fact that they then twisted it to it was X high and it was impregnable. Definitely
maybe,
was
yeah,
because of Game of
possibly.
Thrones.
Yeah, I mean that could also just be that it was just the natural evolution of the story. You know, the natural evolution of that theory, for want of better words. But yeah, I think there's something to there's something in that story that, like, the powers that be and whoever chooses what's allowed to be in the algorithm and what's not, that they don't want there. I don't know what it is, and I think if it's anything, it's probably the Antarctica stuff. I think there's probably a little bit too much questioning what is Antarctica and what's there. Like I say, I don't think it's an ice wall, but I do think there's probably some fucking interesting stuff going on.
I mean, the problem with Antarctica is it's a massive landmass. People don't realize how goddamn big it is, and it's subdivided obviously by different countries, and it's mainly kept for scientific research more than anything. But there's huge areas of Antarctica where you just don't know what's been what happened, what's been going on, because it wasn't always covered by ice. It was tropical at one point.
I think the dangerous thing, I say dangerous. Dangerous is a bad word, but that the flat Earth theory does bring up is it questions how the Antarctic Treaty has been upheld for so long. By there's been nations in that right now. We, like you say, you have a war going on. Countries involved in that war still won't break the Antarctic Treaty.
No.
And I'm I do not believe for a split second it's because when all comes down, the penguins mean more than anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the same likes of like the US and Russia. Like
Mhm.
the International Space Station is still being manned by both countries.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're keeping that.
But when they play cards, it gets heated now.
Yeah.
Does it?
But
No, it doesn't.
right, come on to the next image, Ollie. Lee.
Ollie was in the chat, so
Was he?
yeah. Well, he's a huge flat earther, so
He is. All he is.
no,
Genuinely.
he's real. Yeah.
Yeah. He tries to pass it off. He's more than dabbled. Like,
Oh no, he's
Yeah.
turning down the lights and putting on Barry White. He's
do you know what the
he's
fucking?
there.
Do you know what the shit thing is here? Is
Right.
because I say so much nonsense about Ollie, especially when he's not here. It sounds like I'm just spitting like more Ollie nonsense, where I'm actually dropping hardcore Ollie.
No,
facts.
it's for real. It's not like when we talk about his mom or his sexuality or his nude pic. Well, he does send
Talk
nude
about your
pictures.
mom again.
Oh, no, he sent me a picture of his mom.
I haven't had one, so you want
Which issue?
Huh? March.
Which issue? Well,
good one.
Oh, wow, that is good.
Yeah.
That fucking premium content is fire.
Oh yeah.
This one I thought was hilarious.
That's a table. But tell you what this is here. Like I'm surprised that's 93. I thought this was going to be the 80s because it's got like proper 80s vibe UFO about it, hasn't it?
It looks like one of those, is it Airstream trailer things?
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does. It's a fucking. Do you know what that looks like? It looks like it should be. It looks like it should be a scene from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
You know what the hilarity is? That's the only real UFO we've seen so far.
Yeah.
That's the one.
I know.
Turns out they're not that advanced.
I have
Oh
saved
my
the
God.
best for last, but that's the second to last one. But
That's my favorite so far.
yeah,
That's fucking
93 in
tremendous.
Australia.
Yeah.
You know,
That would be the real sad alien, wouldn't it? That's the real sad alien that lives in a trailer just next to its mum's house.
I thought that is just genius.
What a way to live that would be.
McMinnville.
What was that? I didn't catch that, Lee. Sorry. I tuned out.
This is the hubcap, isn't it?
I don't know.
Trailer, I guess.
It's a lovely photograph. Like
Yeah.
there's something about like old
Frisbees.
yeah, I think it's because things are faded. Everything always looks a bit misty. Like it looks so eerie. I love
Yeah.
it.
It captured a UFO and poverty all in one. So,
Yeah, because it was.
now that's an
photograph-
artistic lens.
Was it not photographed like around about the Depression?
Oh no, you can look at it and tell it's sad.
Ain't this the one? Isn't this the one that Kurt Russell's seen as well?
Yeah, well, he is 100 years old. But
I like Kurt Russell, he's all right. He's cool.
is he still alive?
Yeah.
I see. I always get him mixed up with Swayze.
No, he's not alive.
No, he's not. He's
No.
not seen anything. No.
No more dancing.
That
for him.
happened quick.
One of my favorite movies,
Fuck cancer.
Big Trouble in Little China. God,
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Yes, Stu.
Yeah.
Stu, we're gonna get along swimmingly because that is one of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah, that's like if I'm ever at a loose end and I don't know what to watch, I always stick that on. That always cheers me up.
Can we not forget the fact here that in Roadhouse it goes from just being like this action, right, romantic action film to a part where he literally rips a man's heart out of his chest.
Throat.
His throat.
Oh, so his throat.
Throat.
Sorry,
He ripped his
sorry,
throat
through his
out.
throat.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
That was Patrick Swayze, though.
I always
Oh, it
loved
was
Sam Elliott in
Oh.
that movie.
Yeah, he was
I
good
thought
too.
Sam Elliott's character was just in class.
They're remaking Roadhouse, aren't they?
I believe
Yeah.
so.
Mm.
Well, there's a
Yeah.
Roadhouse 2.
Road
Well,
Harder.
They are
Don't-
rebooting
yeah.
the original one. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't recommend it.
Road
Um,
Harder.
The thing I love about those
O-
80
Oddly
action-
enough, Road Harder is also another film that Ollie's mum was in.
she's fantastic.
Dear.
But the thing I loved about those 80 action movies is those guys would take hellacious beatings and they would have like a bloody nose
Nothing.
at most,
Nothing.
maybe. And you're just like,
Mm.
3 men beat you for 20 minutes and you're just sweating a little.
Are we
It's great.
still talking about the same film?
Yeah, the one with Ollie's mom, right? What do you think I was talking about?
Wait
put it in
a
work, right?
minute.
So,
We're not talking about the same movie here.
so we've gone through all these UFO photographs. I don't think we've seen a single spaceship.
No, we've seen multiple spaceships.
And
Well
that
done,
was
Lee.
my point. There's just fucking nothing. That's
It's
real.
depressing, isn't it? It's so,
Yeah.
like, it really is. And
Oh,
right,
what are you talking about, man? Why don't you show the people my latest video? You want to see real UFO?
Yeah, I
Okay,
want to see this.
bring it
Yeah,
up. Could you
Yeah, I
bring
want to
up
see a real UFO.
Kittens.
bring
I
it
wanna
up.
see this as well.
I'm stoned. Can somebody just go on my channel and grab it?
I am
But please, please, this is the thing I think people need
on
to see.
basic.
Why is it always Corbell's foolishness that gets out there and not this guy? He's coming on my show on Wednesday, doing a
Corbell?
special live show. No,
You watch that thing. That'll be good.
we're not on a grift, man.
You got a link to it, Lee.
I'm just on it. I'm just finding it.
Thank you. Sometime.
2 days ago, bright. Is it 2 days ago? Yeah, your last video
Yeah.
on it, Hidden.
It's been
Oh.
kind of quiet. It's been quite quiet these last few days.
Do you want me to put the volume on it, or are we just going to talk about it?
If you can find his, because he talks about what's happening, and that's what I love.
Is it in the description of your?
No, just play. If you could just play my video, because I pieced it all together. It's from
All right,
2 clips.
Right, I'm on it.
Where did you film it?
It's coming out of Florida. He's not.
Right.
He's not giving me the exact locations for his reasons. All will be revealed.
Yeah, he doesn't want Rich coming around to sort of chat with him.
Oh, I didn't put fucking present sound, did I? Because I'm a moron.
But this
Nobody's
is-
arguing.
This is it's good.
There's not a whole lot of voice of dissent there, Lee.
All stayed silent on that one.
Yeah, we're all just like,
Oh, I'd even clicked share audio tab. Oh, I did do it. I'm double moron because I did it right.
When's Ollie back?
Can we hear it?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I can't hear it.
Hang
Can
on
you
a
hear it?
second.
yeah, we can hear it.
What's going on?
For some reason.
Something doesn't add up. Just a minute.
Real shame on this one.
Time out. This ain't quite right.
Okay, guys, just in case any of you were wondering what that was at the beginning, it's because there's no map, and we'll get into that after this footage. And I came across this last night, and I just wanted to show this to you guys. So let's have a look at the footage, and then we'll have a real quick chat afterwards.
Well, this is it. This is the one I've been looking for right here. It's actually facet shaped. And it is directly above. Very close. It's right directly above me now. Extremely bright.
What's he shot at? A laser pen?
I'm flashing to it, but doesn't seem to be responding. And I'm glad they finally got down low. Give it a little zoom, not that it really needs it, but
No, it doesn't need it.
it's actually the shape of a diamond. It's faceted. It's not round. This one isn't anyway.
Oh hell, I think I know what kind of night vision recorder he's using.
Northeast now.
You notice how quiet it is.
Wow, that's just really, really pretty.
I think it's cool, but is the star pattern's not a bit off?
Yeah.
It's not a high
Come this
quality
far, you might as well land in the yard. Shoot.
night vision device.
Yeah.
It's a digital, like one of those all-in-one. That's what it looks like.
Definitely does not seem to be in any kind of a hurry.
Yeah, it's moving too slow for satellite too.
Starting to kind of pulse now. Definitely moving away, which is a shame, but oh well.
Did you guys see like an orb coming off that there?
Could have been a satellite passing through because of the quickness it was moving. Like we don't have direction if it was, east, west, north, south. What's the orientation?
Was it down here?
Hidden, what height did you reckon that was at?
1,000 feet.
It's very low. It's behind the tree here. It is.
I came across this post last night on Facebook while I was looking for footage.
It's
and I
interesting.
thought, wow, this is
It
really
is.
good.
Yeah,
Now,
it
according
clearly
to what was
moves in a
posted
different
on
direction.
Facebook, this was sighted over in Florida. That's the location, just Florida. And this was caught on May the 20th,
interesting, though,
2020.
How come there's never like signs of mass, is there? It's always bright lights.
It's funny that you bring that up because this is just me, right? Me out on a limb. One of the things that I think is like pushed through Corbell and all these other people is we're going for physical. We're nuts and bolts. We want that craft. That has always been the structured narrative. I don't understand why it is, but it is. But when you see things, and I've watched things in the sky with night vision before, and Lee, when you and Ollie come up, we're definitely going to go out and give it a whirl.
Mm-hmm.
You see lights, but you don't see craft. You just see a light.
Yeah.
You see a light that moves and changes direction. Like, why did that turn at 45 degrees? Why did that stop and then start again?
Mm-hmm.
His device reminds me of one. I don't know that it's the same, but it reminds me of one that I actually have one because I wanted to see how good it would do. It's a night vision device that's black and white. It's a digital. You can take pictures and record with it. It's not great. They're very cheap, and that quality looks the same. But the problem comes in with like the other optics that I have that are super high end. They don't have recording capabilities. They have tubes that amplify the light, and you would have to modify something to be able to view that with them. Or just put your camera up to it. You know what I mean? But try that. But that's interesting, man. That's a good one, Hidden. I think that's interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
I look forward to listening to the interview with him.
Yeah.
When did you say he's coming on your channel?
I'm doing a show on Wednesday. We got it arranged for Wednesday.
Nice.
Definitely gonna.
I'll check that out. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Guys, I'm gonna bounce. I've got to go and walk this dog of mine.
No worries, Stu. I think we'll stop wrapping up now. So, anyway, but we didn't play that clip of the Roswell thing. But
yeah,
maybe
for
save that for a show. We'll do a Roswell revisit.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no,
It's
definitely.
okay. You.
I'll catch up with you over the weekend, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Cheers, Stu.
Yep. I'll see you soon. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
See you later, man.
Cheers.
That's why for UFOs, I'd put my career on that one. That's something that we need to look into. Okay, given the footage alone, just the silence.
He's obviously in the middle of nowhere recording it. It's
Yeah.
but and there's no sound coming off it.
He's bouncing. I don't understand. Maybe you guys can help me with this one. I don't understand about the lasers. Would that tell the distance, or what's that to do with? I never got why people shot lasers at.
I have lasers for that. So the reason you shine it and hit it with a laser is sometimes they flash back, or sometimes you'll be shining your laser and move it, and the thing will follow the laser. The lasers you want to use, though,
a video with that, like that, where something followed the laser.
Yeah, and see the video that he has, because of the quality of it, like there's a difference in lasers. Like I have some that they have like an extra key locks and stuff on it because if you don't want to play around with it, you don't want to share them at aircraft. They can do some damage. They can definitely blind somebody easily. And I don't know what kind he has or doesn't have. You want something powerful, and you can just kind of see him burst through it's wild. It's wild, the stuff you can buy from China. But yeah, so that's the point of it, is usually when it's something up like that and it's moving, you tell it's not a plane. And when you're looking with night vision, it's very easy to see the markers on planes. It's you don't mistake it. Satellites, they move in a trajectory. They're moving quick. They don't stop. They don't turn. They go. Those are obvious too. It's the other things that come through and they'll slowly stop, and then it looks like a star. And the only real reason you're seeing it is you're seeing it with the night vision. And so people will ping them with lasers, and they'll flash back. I've seen that too. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm right to follow what I think about that video. That's something that needs to be.
I think it's interesting. Yeah, there's no flashing, so something's flying without any warning lights of any kind, right? Yeah, and the fact that
I thought the only possibility, but not a possibility, would be a satellite, but it's moving too slow for a satellite.
It's moving way too slow for a satellite. Satellites, they move at a consistent clip. They don't slow. They don't change trajectory. They arc across.
But just the brightness of that object, and at some point, I could see it looking like what he said, kind of like as a hexagon shape.
Yeah. The comparison you want too is like, this is something I found weird when I've watched objects in the sky with my friends, is when we're watching it, if you take the night vision away, you can't see it. There is no light. It's only visible in the IR spectrum.
Okay, well, yeah.
So that would be something too. Like if he isn't looking at it with the night vision, is it still there?
Well, I'll say this here. I asked him that question. That's the one thing I really wanted to know.
Yeah.
And he said you could see it.
Yeah, so that's interesting. The device that he used would be interesting to know too, because some of those digital ones, they have already fixed zoom, like 1.5 or 2.5 times fixed, and then you can scale up to a certain extent.
Someone said in the chat here, was he hitting it with a laser to find the distance? It was at 1,000 feet, or did I hear correctly? I don't know. I don't even know that.
No, it didn't. One, there are laser rangefinders that you could do to absolutely do that. They use them in shooting all the time. I've never heard of anyone doing that, because typically, like the things I've seen are unbelievably high, unbelievably high. Like like the whatever as low as he's saying that is, and 1,000 feet's actually pretty low.
He's saying it was like the size of a bus, and he said to me that was underestimating it. He said a bus and a half, to be more precise.
Yeah.
If I had to put my skeptic hat on, I would want to get a torch and either use a drone, or maybe some way of like doing it out of like the top of my house and hanging the torch down and seeing how that hits that one of those cameras.
No, it wouldn't be that, because a drone, you would see the flashing lights ring out through the IR spectrum.
Right.
There's no mistaking that.
It would be like using the like when you see the remote on your cell phone camera.
Yes. Or if you like here's another thing, a night vision device, like it's crazy to see the things that put out IR flashes, like cell phones, like especially Apple phones. When people are looking at it, they're constantly flashing your face. Your smartwatches that when you look at it with good night vision, you can see the IR flashes coming out from the band as someone walks around. Like it's crazy the things that they put out. So like if he had a drone, he would have to disassemble it, and if he had a flashlight on it, they don't look like that. He would want some kind of like an LED spot on the bottom of it. That's what he would have to do, and that's what he would have to lift up with it. And even then, so drones in the US, they have operating limits, for him to go above 400 feet.
No, that's for me. I would just be interested to know, because obviously if you're looking through night, if you're looking at night vision, it's going to enhance light. That's the whole idea of it. So if you were to put something over like that, it's going to blow out. Like I would imagine it would blow out like that object was. I'm not saying it's not real. Don't get me wrong. It's just I'm just trying to work out how, if I wanted to try and make something look like that, how I'd do it, and with no expertise whatsoever. Don't get me wrong. And that's the first thing I'd try to see if I could recreate it.
Well, see, that's the thing, is all footage can be recreated.
Yeah,
everything can be recreated. Everything.
I don't see. I think the other thing is as well. It's not necessarily can you recreate it. It would be looking at that guy's background. How many videos has he done? Has he got any vested interest in recreating something? And if he doesn't hit those points, then why the fuck has he just faked a UFO video for no apparent reason all of a sudden?
Shits and giggles.
Yeah,
I like it. I think it's good, Hidden. I think it's good. That's good. It's very interesting.
I'm looking forward to listening to you speak to the guy. Definitely.
Yeah, man, I'll tune in for that. That's going to be good. And then maybe when Lee and Ollie come out, we can go live that night. I
hope so, man. I was looking. I found an eSIM thing that I can use as well, so I should be able to do I'll have data essentially. So
420.
I'm looking forward to keeping in touch with people while we're away. Making sure I can get my my safe words to my people back home in case they don't hear from me every 15 minutes.
Don't worry about that, man. When you come here, it'll be immediately blocked out on my journey. No one's gonna know where you are. Like, I'll take care of that GPS signal. No one's gonna find you.
There was a comment much further back. I probably can't find it here. And it was Mr. Reckless Ryan put a great comment up, and I wanted to pull up at the time, but it didn't fit with what we were saying. But I wanted to close with it anyway. And he said that we are conditioned to think that everything we don't understand that's in the sky is an alien UFO. We've been conditioned by media to think that. And I think it's a really good lens to look at things. You guys obviously fucking don't. I'm going to end this fucking podcast.
Sorry, you were talking?
No, fuck you and you. Thank you for watching Alien Addict. We will be back on Sunday where Dave and I will be discussing whistleblowers, and we will be talk about whether we can trust whistleblowers that bad things don't happen to, essentially, because in everywhere else apart from certain fields, if you're a whistleblower, it doesn't tend to work out too well for you. Other than that, do all the stuff, like, share, subscribe. If you still listen to it, if you're still listening to the podcast at this point and you haven't subscribed to it, then what are you doing with your life? It's you've enjoyed this much, so subscribe to it, and then you will be notified when you can listen to more of it. It's not fucking difficult, is it? We will be hopefully midweek next week putting our first Rockfin only show up on Rockfin. If you haven't gone to subscribe to our Rockfin channel, go and do it now. I should have plugged it at the beginning of the show, but I'm a hard-R retard and I forgot. Other than that, I will see you on Sunday. Bye. Look, David's Ollie's fucking screensaver.
Neurons or something between the brain and balls and cock. If you tuck them and bend them, you're done, man. You're done. Like these people are losing their fucking minds.
It hurts as well. It hurts.
It has to hurt, right? Like, what? How do you keep it back there? Do you stick it in your own asshole? Is that the trick? Like, should we ask Ollie? He'll know.
He will know. I mean,
will definitely know.
If he doesn't do it every day, he does it every weekend.
No, he does it every day. There's no way he doesn't do it every day. Look at him. You know he does it every day. But that can't be good for mental health, right? Like, I wouldn't think.
I mean, anything that sort of stops the flow of like what makes you a dude has got to be.
It's probably
detrimental.
Do you think it started before he got pegged or after?
Oh, I think it was. I think it was after.
After. Oh,
yeah.
How does he get? I wonder how he gets it out of the way. That's gotta hurt, right? Seriously, you know she's not taking it easy on him.
Oh no! Like
he's getting he's getting prolapsed.
Hate fucking.
It's hate fucked. Yeah.
That's the point where someone says, "Like, what's your safe word?" And the safe word is ah.
Yeah, no, that's why I don't give a shit.
That's not.
You're the one strapped to the fucking bed, not me.
Yeah.
You know.
Your safe word is I'll stop when I'm done.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Probably not.